eating out. And when we actually add up how much they eat out, it is by far the most common accidental expense. Eating out includes coffee, restaurants, delivery, DoorDash, all of it. If you think you eat out twice a week, it's probably actually 6 times. The magic number is 3 times more than you think. It's quite shocking. And since we are talking about spending more on what you love, that includes the people you love as well. Trips, dinners, memories, I love it all. But part of living a rich life is I'll almost certainly buy a house one day. But I'm gonna do it with my eyes wide open. I'm gonna carefully run the numbers, and I'm gonna know, quite candidly, it's going to be a terrible financial decision. And I'm okay with that because I'm gonna be doing it for other reasons, lifestyle reasons. Maybe I wanna customize the backyard, but I am never going to mislead myself into thinking this is a great financial decision. It's not, especially in the cities that I am going to buy it. So before you buy a house, I just have one thing to ask you. That's it. This is my major message. Run the numbers. If you're going to make the biggest financial purchase of your life, you need to understand. Step number 3, ensure your total monthly housing cost is less than 28% of your gross income. You could stretch it a little bit, especially in expensive cities, but the higher you go, the more risk you are taking on. I will tell you right now, most people have never calculated even that number. Number 4, be okay with the idea of your house value going down. House prices do not only go up, house values do not only go up. Sometimes it's okay if they go down. You need to be okay with that. And number 5, ask yourself, do you actually want to buy? Why do you want to buy? Don't just do it because somebody told you. Don't just do it because you think it's a natural next step. It's the biggest decision of your financial life. Make sure you know why you are doing it. If you cannot check all those 5 boxes, in my opinion, you are not ready to buy, and that is perfectly okay. I'm not ready to buy because I don't pass number 5. I don't want to buy right now. Neither does my wife. And so it's up for no matter what. Next category, investments. 10% of your take-home pay, ideally more. This would go towards 401k, Roth IRA, any investment accounts. This is where the real wealth is created. You should spend way more time on this category than how much freaking blueberries cost. Savings goals, 5 to 10% of take-home pay, ideally more. This is for specific things that you are saving for. An emergency fund is usually the first thing. It could be a down payment on a house. It could be a vacation you're gonna take next year. And finally, my favorite one of all, guilt-free spending. 20 to 35% of take-home pay. This is everything else. This is the thing you enjoy. Going out, eating out, travel, movies, clothes, whatever you want based on the money dials that you prioritize in Rule 1. And instead of a budget which looks backwards, a conscious spending plan looks forward. You decide how you want your money to be allocated, and then you have the flexibility on how you want to spend it. For example, if you have $1,000 a month on guilt-free spending and you decide I want to spend $900 one night at a hotel, God bless. It's up to you. Nobody's going to judge you for it. It's your money. It's your guilt-free spending. You can also be flexible because you only have to track 4 key numbers. And if you are achieving those 4 key numbers, you are successful. 1 is exhausting. 1 treats you like an adult. Budgets look backwards. Conscious spending out. Guys, if you save $5 a day by making coffee at home, that's $150 a month, which is $1,800 a year. And if you invest that for 30 years at 7%, you'll end up with $170,000. Is it true? Does the path to wealth begin with cutting back on lattes and making your own coffee at home? Almost certainly no. Because while you are agonizing over a $5 coffee, you are almost certainly missing the things that actually matter. The 5 to 10 big wins in life. The ones worth $20, $50, $150,000. In addition, very few people actually cut back on their morning coffee and then take all that money and invest it. That's not the way people work. They enjoy their morning coffee. It is a ritual. It's something that feels good. And it requires you to make an active decision every single day for 30 years. Every morning, you have to consciously choose not to buy the coffee. Once you get good at something, you often become passionate about it. And that is often where the money is found. You know, when I was in college, I was not passionate about a Roth IRA. I don't wake up even today, 21 years later, saying, oh, Roth IRA is so cool. Let's talk about the tax advantages versus a traditional. But once I started helping people with their money, something interesting happened. The better I got at it, the more I enjoyed figuring out how it all works. So you don't need to wait until you're ready. The market doesn't care about that. In fact, the market doesn't care about anything in your head. In fact, get a tight shot of this. I'm about to give you some advice that's going to change your life. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about you. Maybe your grandma and your mom and dad care about you, okay? But the market does not care. The market, how do you get them? Reach out to people who have your dream job. Send them a message. Hey, I'm really interested in your career path. Would you be open to a 15-minute call to share your experience? You'll be surprised at how many people will say yes, and any one of those conversations could lead to your next opportunity. They will certainly give you behind closed doors insights on how that company and industry works. Strategy number 3, start a side business. Remember, the market rewards value, not passion. Can you write? Businesses need copywriters. Can you design? They need graphic designers. Can you organize? Busy professionals will pay you to organize their homes or offices. Now, I know what you're thinking, Ramit, none of this works with AI. Do you know that we still have people we pay for copywriting? I have hired personal organizers. We pay graphic designers. The very video you're watching has all of those things being paid for, waiting years for inspiration to strike. And they're actually afraid of simply looking inside and saying, what am I good at? What do my friends think that I'm great at? They come up with these random excuses like, well, there's already other people teaching you how to pay for flights using points. Good. I want to start a business where there's lots of competition because that means there's lots of customers. And the truth is, you don't need an idea. You need a lot of ideas. And more importantly, you need a system. People think starting an idea means quitting your job, spending thousands of dollars on a website, and then working 80 hours a week. That's not true. You can start a side business while keeping your full-time job. You don't need a fancy website. You can start with an email. Waste their time with money because they are desperately trying to control random things like tracking the price of bread, but ignoring the things that actually matter. Wealth, real wealth comes from leverage, and it comes from calm, long-term decisions. It rarely comes from cutting back on the price of pickles. And when it comes to earning serious money, I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars over the course of your career, there are a few key things that matter. Number 1, time. This is why you should start investing as young as possible. Number 2, your returns. This is why you should focus on low-cost, long-term investments such as index funds for the most part. 3, the amount that you contribute. Even adding an extra $100 a month can be worth tens and tens of thousands of dollars over the long term. More than any amount you save on coffee for your entire life. Those 3 things.
The planning. And then the last thing is control, which needs to be done in real time and interact with the environment that changes. Walk us through the seminal papers that a lot of the team of Pi Robotics published that gave you the inkling that the GPT-1 moment is near. And that started in 2024.
Yeah. So the dream to build general purpose robots has been a long time dream, I think, in humanity. We're not the first to say that our mission is to build a model that can work on any robot. And we're really fortunate to be in this moment in time in history. Examples such as kind of spatial reasoning that doesn't exist in the robotic data at all. Like, for example, move the dinosaurs next to the red car, and these are always just completely unseen object in robot data. And so that was RT2 and that was POM-E. Now, RT2 and POM-E are single embodiment exercise.
Just for the audience, single embodiment meaning it worked for a very specific robot.
It worked for a very specific robot. In robotics, you can ask the question, how do you scale? Especially how do you scale data collections? And one of the insights that we had back then was, maybe the data need to be repeated from one company to the next. So I think there's lots of opportunity to build kind of support for growing robotic business. So that's one thing, one surprising thing that I learned. And the second is, I think one of the reasons why we have managed to achieve such progress is that there is a really tight loop of collaboration in the entire life cycle of model development, going from what task do you collect data for? If you collect data for that task, how do you do it? What hardware do you use? Once after you collect the data, how do you get visibility? How do you ensure that? But the flip side is that this only works for simple cases today. And the reason why that's the case is because I think it's pretty fundamental limitation of the model that we have today, which is that they are not at the core model that take action in the world and see the consequences of its own action, especially action that changes the physical world. And so I think this kind of very fundamental understanding about how the physical world works is missing from the really large foundation model. And I think that's one of the ingredients that's missing to be able to build this automated robot research scientist.
What's interesting about OpenClaw, so
Yeah, and to get back to your question about why robotic is hard, it is a really hard system problems. Like you need everything to work well and work well together to get this result. And like we've such an incredible team for us to work with to get this result. And it actually didn't even take us that long to get this result. It was roughly, well, we set a goal, and maybe it was like 2 weeks afterwards where we got a model and a system that was good enough at performing this task.
It still like blows my mind to see a robot actually folding laundry, because I remember until ChatGPT, I didn't know if this would exist even in my entire lifetime. Because like folding laundry, I mean, it's always been like the Turing test for robotics, because there's no way to like deterministically program a system the way that you did like lifetime.
welcome back to another episode of The Light Cone. Today, we have a very special guest, Quan Vuong. He's one of the co-founders of Physical Intelligence, which we think might be the robotics AI lab that brings about the GPT-1 moment for all of robotics. Quan, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Has been a long-time admirer of YC, and our mission is to build a model that can control any robot to do any task that is physically capable of, and to do so as